Hello everybody, welcome to Gambit Cup week 13 now? I never know what week we're in. But we have IWL versus Reps. In the top left position we have Reps DeWalt. And in the bottom left position we have IWL Gag. So, Gag. We have the two primarily Russian teams playing today. DeWalt. Yeah, that's what you capitalized. Couldn't remember if there was a capital W in there. DeWalt is white. And Gag is brown. So, as I was saying, Jade's probably my favorite of the new Pro League maps. I think it's a pretty solid map, and there aren't a lot of shenanigans on it, like there are on Electric Circuit or or the two-player map that I forget the name of. It starts with a C. Oh, you know, it's the only two-player map. Like that one, where there's just too much shenanigans going on. And it's a little bit more complex than Ground Zero. I don't really have anything against Ground Zero, but it's just a really boring map. So, I think that Jade is my favorite one. Chain Reaction, there we go. I always want to call that Circuit Breakers, because I know it's a two-word map where one of them starts with a C. And every time I want to say Circuit Breakers, but I know it's not Circuit Breakers, because Circuit Breakers is a different map that I also like. Anyway, DeWalt going for the 13 necks in a PVT. So ballsy. It's essentially a common response from the Terran to go for a bunker rush. Following that up, he got a quick gas as well. If he was going for a fast expansion on his own, he probably wouldn't be able to. But since he hasn't thrown out his command center yet, and he's going to throw down a very fast factory, I would be very surprised if he didn't throw down the bunker. At the same time, though, he is scouting in the wrong direction, so he's going to get to DeWalt's base last. It might be almost too late at that point. We'll have to see how he reacts. It's an unfortunate scouting pattern for him, and DeWalt's going to have a nice big advantage because his expansion is so much faster than his opponent's, who's throwing down a factory first. But will he be able to handle the faster vultures or the faster tanks that Gag is going to be able to make? Yeah, I like the point that Draw brings up of. On Jade specifically, it's always risky to go 13 Nexus, but on a reverse ramp map, it goes from risky to borderline suicidal. And I mean, he did get very lucky, and it's going to be too late. The SCV is now making its way over there. But yeah, if it had been scouted first, it's not like in normal games where it's just like, oh, lost the Nexus, oh well, I'll just continue on from there. You're just never going to be able to break that as Protoss. Like, never. Because by the time you have units, he's going to have siege tanks on a high ground above a small choke. Which means you lose. Just straight up. I mean, you have to, like, bulldog to get out of your own main? It's ridiculous. Excuse me. Anyway, Gag going for the, Ooh, now Gag's going for the push, pulling a lot of SCVs. So he will be attempting to throw down a bunker. Unless they're all for repair. Did he get... he did get the first SCV kill. So, he probably won't be throwing down the bunker. Well, where's the tank? Tank's on its way. It could be for the bunker. It could be to repair the tank. It's going to be hard to throw down the bunker just because DeWalt's already on top of this. And he's going to come out very far to meet the Terran. It's not going to allow the Terran to get into the position that he wants to be in to try to throw down the bunker. Just keeping him away, keeping him back as long as possible until a few more units get out, because DeWalt doesn't exactly have a lot of units. That's the problem with 13 necks. You only have one gateway. So he's slowly going to be adding goons to this. Now, will Gag be going for the bunker? It doesn't look like it. No, he's using his SCVs to buffer a lot of the damage, but now he's only down to 2 SCVs. The tank finally gets there, and that's a much bigger problem, but only 1 tank without siege mode isn't the scariest thing in the world necessarily. At the same time, though, DeWalt has lost his Zealot, has lost his first Dragoon. He's down to only 1 Dragoon. Another one coming. He can afford to lose a good number of probes here. Keep that in mind. Gag sent a lot of SCVs of his own, and DeWalt has the high economic advantage. So that's not going to be a huge issue here. And it looks like DeWalt's going to do a pretty nice job of repelling this. The bunker's going down, but the bunker doesn't matter at this point. Oh, 1 mine. Only hits 1 Dragoon, so not horrible. The bunker's going to be constructed, but with no Marines, it's not a huge issue. And Terran's not even putting any more pressure on. Yeah, Terran's pulling back, so that bunker did absolutely nothing. I'm surprised that Gag let it finish. But DeWalt is looking like he's going to be in a pretty good position. Is Gag heading back? He's bringing his tank back up only as a 3rd life. So it's going to be pretty susceptible to sniping. Only 3 more goon shots to take that thing out. But nope, he's pulling back now, which I really think is a smart move. It's so easy to just want to put pressure on your opponent knowing that they went 13 next, but you have to realize at some point that the aggression is just not going to work, and Gag didn't... he committed a good amount to it, but I think he committed the correct amount. He's not going to completely ruin himself for the rest of the game by not breaking it. Anyway, Gag now sending up his command center, so he will start to try to recover the economic deficit. A little bit of a supply lead for DeWalt, but keep in mind that it's a very different supply. DeWalt has a lot more probes, so he'll be able to increase his supply a lot faster than Gag is. Excuse me, leg speed coming online. So, nice fast leg speed. Excuse me. Ooh, Gag still only on 1 factory. He really doesn't... he just doesn't have very much money. He's throwing down an engineering bay. DeWalt... does he have the archives? Oh, the archives are going down, and he does have a robo facility. So, it looks like some kind of drops could be on the way. You don't need to throw down the robo facility that quickly if it's just going to be for Templar drops. And he's throwing down the observatory too. Maybe it's just coincidental, the timing between those two. Anyway, looks like DeWalt wants to get a little bit aggressive here. He does have a nice large number of Dragoons, and he hasn't had a chance to be aggressive yet. Speed Zealot's going to run in and figure out what kind of defenses Gag has, which is just going to be a bunch of siege tanks with no SimCity and siege mode, which is done, but... excuse me, DeWalt's going to hang back. Good move. Keeping the Terran back. Doesn't want the Terran to escape and be able to lay mines everywhere. And here we go. It is going to be for a DT drop. 2 DTs on the way. And the shuttle is as well. So, we saw DeWalt throw down the eBay. Where are the turrets? No turrets. He still does have some time to get the turrets down. He doesn't need them. There's 1 turret up here. He doesn't need them immediately, but they aren't exactly covering a good space at all. He's just covering this region. So if the shuttle doesn't go directly and comes around and comes in from anywhere hitting the main, Gag might have some serious problems. He's now throwing down another turret, which will cover the ramp and cover the rest of the natural. His academy is just about finished, so he will have scan relatively soon. And let's see what the DTs can do. Oh! Shuttle gets hit by the first turret significantly, and then is destroyed by the second one. So DT drop fails pretty bad. DeWalt tries to go in for a bust, but really there wasn't much he could do with that. He doesn't really have the zealots to support a bust. Dragoons are going to allow him to control a lot of space, but he really can't be terribly aggressive with them at this point. Those tanks seem really snipeable. Because normally on a normal map, where this is the raised ground, the Dragoons can't see up, so the Dragoons are just going to be, like, panicking in this area while these tanks shell them. But in this way, the Goons can just walk up and start shooting the tanks. Not to mention the Goons get high ground advantage. Anyway, doesn't matter now. The Goons are pulling back. Stargate is up. Arbiter Tribunal's up, but the first Arbiter hasn't quite started yet. So DeWalt's getting a very quick tech. Keep in mind, he did have a nice economic advantage, but he's sticking to only 2 base, so he's not very far ahead of where Protoss should be at this point. He's not very far ahead of where Protoss should be at this point in the game, because Protoss normally would have taken a 3rd by now. It looks like he's starting to attempt to take a 3rd, but still has a ways to go before that comes online. Ooh. Looks like he wanted to set up a base over here, but Probe got sniped. Nice use of vultures by Gag. And now that DeWalt has pulled all the way back, and forced back, excuse me, by Gag's superior tank numbers, the vultures are now going to be able to do something. So they can lay mines around. DeWalt needs to be more careful about having goons running around like this, because they will eventually run into minefields. And he also has to be careful to not allow his mineral line to be harassed. Looks like Gag's moving out with his tanks now. He wants to put the pressure back on DeWalt. This is a pretty risky move. How many of his tanks did he take? He took all of his tanks with this attack. If he gets into a bad engagement, which is a severe possibility with the first Arbiter almost done, this could turn out really bad for Gag. He doesn't have the scans. Or, excuse me, he only has the scans. He doesn't have Science Vessels for EMP or for detection. How much energy do his comp stations have? That one's gone. That one only has 2 scans. It's a precarious position for both players. I mean, anytime you have this many siege tanks that close to your base, you're not exactly happy about the way the game is going. But at the same time, one nice stasis that hits these 5 tanks, and all of a sudden, excuse me, DeWalt wins the battle, and Gag has absolutely nothing. The Vulture's getting a little bit too aggressive here. They're only being covered by 2 tanks right now. He's actually going to lose a lot of the Vultures to very tightly packed Dragoons. Looks like DeWalt's playing this game correctly. He's losing some Goons, but he's killed off a lot of the Vultures in a ratio that's still beneficial to him, even though Vultures cost significantly less. Now, where are the stasis? How much energy does the Arbiter have? Still needs 12 more energy, and stasis will be done by that time. There's a Science Vessel out. Does he have EMP? He couldn't possibly have EMP done, right? I'm sure he doesn't have EMP done. Oh man, it's so sad. It's like the Arbiter can't even shoot the tank fast enough to do damage to it when the SCV's repairing. Alright, but here's the stasis I was talking about. That takes out 4 tanks. That's half of the tanks that Gag has left. Is this going to be enough? D-Matrix going down on the lead tank. That's going to help out a lot, actually, to slow down the Goons, but does it slow them down enough? It's still pretty close, but it looks like no. The next wave of Vultures is going to be enough for Gag to take this battle. DeWalt's not going to pull back, though. He's just going to let his last few Dragoons die. A couple of Zealots coming just a little bit too late to help. Well, maybe. Those Vultures didn't do a lot of damage very quickly, and there goes the last unstasis siege tank. A couple of Goons coming in from the back. He had a Goon scouting party out in there initially. The siege tanks are now unstasised, but reinforcements come for Gag at the same time. It looks like Gag is just ever so barely going to be able to hold this. Trying to do some nice micro there to prevent the siege tank from getting shots off. And the Arbiter's going to get another kill. Nice. But DeWalt actually didn't have any units. He has like no units. He's now losing in terms of supply. The Vultures have gotten close enough that they can start picking off probes if the Dragoons don't get into a good position. Yet another D-Matrix goes down. These D-Matrixes are being very effective here for Gag. Siege tank goes down. There's only the lead siege tank left, but it still has the D-Matrix on, making it very hard to kill. And now, GG for DeWalt. Gag got into the death position where he really controlled the ramp with siege tanks. And despite starting out pretty much as badly as you could with your opponent going 13cc and you doing no damage, still managed to come back in it. Very nice game by Gag. Okay. Let's see what game number 2 is. And it's Chain Reaction. Alright. Alright. Set number 2 of IWL versus Reps in the Twitch TV Gambit Cup, sponsored by Twitch TV, Nerbopolis, and Prowler. Thank you to those guys. We have IWL Gag continuing on, as this is Winners League format, as the Yellow Terran. And we have Gotunk for Reps. Alright. Reps. Gotunk. Is that how you capitalize it? Indeed it is. Nice. Playing as the Blue Protoss. A PvT on Chain Reaction. There are so many good places for either player to throw down a proxy if that's what they wanted to do. I don't know, man. Gag isn't the kind of player that's going to do a proxy factory. But Gotunk does like his DTs. So it's a possibility. I would guess probably not, but it's something I'm going to keep my eye on. See if he does get that fast Templar archives. Anyway, no 13cc on this game. It's a pretty good decision. I don't know how the 13cc would work out could work out on a 2-player map. And Gag is going to go. Excuse me. Gag's going to go for the same kind of build he had last time, going for a fast factory. I just realized that there are a lot of maps in this map pool that don't have high ground mains. Chain Reaction, low ground main. Jade, low ground main. Electric Circuit has not a high. It's the same between the natural and the main. It's not a high ground. Ground Zero has a high. And the other map is Outlier, which has a low ground main. Is that all of them? Oh, no, that's 5. I'm forgetting one. Oh, Sniper Ridge. Sniper Ridge. Does that one have a high ground main? Or a low ground main, too? I can't actually remember. Sniper Ridge. Peculiar. Anyway, SCV trying to be cute to take out the SCV building the factory, but Marine's going to chase that away. Meanwhile, Gotunk has his Cybercore up, is getting his first goon out. Did not go Zealot first. And on a map where the main's in the low ground, this first goon might be able to do some good damage, or at least prevent Gag from doing too much. I'll have to see how effectively he's able to use that. Range is underway. Oh, goons. Taking the worst possible way through the mineral line. Oh, there we go. I was wondering why there wasn't another one. And the SCV's dead, so that Tribune should be heading towards its opponent. 4 Marines out, excuse me, with a 5th one on the way. So that should be enough to stand up to a 1 Dragoon. But once Gotung gets 1 or 2 more out, Gag's going to need the bunker. Especially when range finishes, which is getting pretty close. Second gateway and the natural, as I pointed out earlier. Gotung, being a good, being a good responsible player, checks back here because you can put a factory up here and then rally in vultures. But that is not what Gag is doing. He is doing the exact same thing he did last game, the FD. Although he probably will not bring as many SCVs as he did last game. Mines are done. He's getting actually 2 tanks before moving out. A lot of times 2-player only go for 1, just so that they can start it earlier. But 2 tanks, for obvious reasons, is more strong than 1 tank. That sounded weird. I could have said stronger, but I don't think more strong is incorrect. Huh. Anyway, not important. 3rd gateway going down, still pumping out the goons, so this push really shouldn't be able to do too much. SCV does see that there are 4 goons out, and the Marines and the tanks should be able to beat up 4 goons, but once the next round comes out and Gotung has 6 goons with a high ground, I think that's going to be enough. There's a 5th goon. I guess he was only producing 1 goon at that moment. And now all the Marines are dead, and the Vulture dies, and there's just siege tanks left. He doesn't even have siege mode for them. And Gag is going to lose his entire push. That's rather unfortunate to lose your first 2 siege tanks and along with the Marines and the Vultures and only manage to get 1 Dragoon kill. Expansion has started for Gag, so that's only going to be slightly slower than Gotung's. Ooh. Gotung's taking out the warp gate in the back. There is a pathway back along this way that leads to the 3rd. But I'm kind of surprised he's doing that. It doesn't seem necessary. Lay in a mine. I'm gonna check out when that, excuse me. I'm gonna see when that expansion goes down. What?! That has to be a mistake. Right? Okay, it's a mistake. Okay. Okay. Okay, we can all breathe. It's fine. It was a mistake. He wasn't gonna do double eBay M&M attack in a PvP. Okay then. We're good. We're good, everybody. It's fine. Alright. Anyway, Gotung has his... Ooh. Ooh. Where's the fleet beacon? There is no fleet beacon. There's no fleet beacon. Okay. He's probably doing this for D-Web, but there's no fleet beacon, so he can't get D-Web. Ah, there we go. He's blowing up his own warp gate. It's a more common thing for Terran to do, because then Terran doesn't have to defend all of this. He can just put up siege tanks here and siege tanks over here and be completely safe. What's kind of peculiar is that... Okay, there's the fleet beacon. I don't know why he has 1 Corsair down here and 1 Corsair down here. I would think that he would keep his Corsairs with the Stargate to keep it all hidden. Because if Gag scans here or the Stargate, he knows what's going on. But if he had the Corsair, if he had both of his Corsairs up here, then it'd be more hidden. Anyway, we'll see what Corsairs could do on this map. This map is pretty good for D-Web, as there are a lot of choke points in it, and there's pretty much no spot on this map where it's just completely open. There's always some kind of wall or river or unmovable place anywhere you look on it. I'm pretty sure it's actually impossible to find a place that is completely without stuff other than in the mains. Don't quote me on that. And we saw, in Pro League, we saw Hwoarang 2 do it to Piano, I want to say? Which, I mean, let's be honest, it's Piano. So, really don't know what that says about its viability. You know what, if you haven't seen the new patch, or not patch notes, but if you haven't seen the new update, they changed this map so that this thing isn't here, so that it's easier to land tanks on here. When I saw that, I was like, really? Why do you need it to be easier to land tanks on high grounds by naturals? Why is that so important for you, Kespa? Because a lot of maps have this. And even like last season, they changed they changed Aztec so that that was possible. I don't know why every map... Oh! Ouch! Hitting 4 dragoons. I don't know why every map needs to have a place where siege tanks can kill everything from. I think this Corsair here is a mistake. Not like he should reconsider his strategy of putting that Corsair there, but I think he just accidentally put it there. Because he's keeping every other one up here, and it's not as if he's like going to stop the dropship from coming in with a single Corsair. Or snipe a science vessel that got a little bit too close. Anyway, ooh. He's that fancy, man. He's getting the energy upgrade for the Corsair, so now it's 250. So they can each cast 2 D-Webs. For when 1 D-Web just isn't enough. Anyway, both players have a third up, and neither player seems too intent on attacking their opponent now. Gotung starting to venture out a little bit. And if I was Gag, I would start to get pretty suspicious. My opponent has been sitting on 3 bases, not attacking at all, and he doesn't have Arbiter Tech yet? Oh, but there's a Corsair, so now he definitely knows that there's something up. All the Corsairs are coming. Gag did a very nice job of spreading out his siege tanks to make it so that multiple disruption webs have to be thrown down, but this disruption web's hitting 3 siege tanks. And actually, the Dragoons have gotten far enough in that they can't all shoot anymore because they're getting hit by their own disruption web. But it did give them a big enough opening to attack the third. Are they going to be able to do anything? The siege tanks need to get into a better position, and the Corsairs need to throw down another D-Web right here. But nope. Looks like these Dragoons are just going to die. Took out a couple SCVs. I didn't point it out earlier, but Gotung put one of his Dragoons up here just to be super preventative of a dropship coming in and dropping. I've seen Gotung do that in other games too. He's always really cautious on every map to make sure that there are no tank drops. I can appreciate that. Observer going down. And here comes a lot of speed lots, but with only 1 Dragoon to help them out. I don't know why. That's a lot of speed lots to just be casually throwing away like that. And I mean, they did some damage, but it's not even as if Gag was sieged up. Or Gag only had tanks. He had a nice, robust composition. Oh man, Gotung doesn't have any units. Gotung had spent too much money on his Corsairs, and now he has no units. And his third was slower than his opponent, so Gag had more money to begin with, and now he's going to die. He's going to die. Where are the Corsairs? Back here. How much energy? You got 2 D-webs between them, and no D-webs between those two. Yeah. That one has a D-web. There we go. But Gag's doing a good job of spreading out his tanks, so it just doesn't matter. Corsairs, man. Trying to be too fancy. It's trying to be too fancy. Anyway, it's a 96 supply compared to 138. And there we go. GG from Gotung. Gag takes the second game for IWL. Alright. Game number 3. Excuse me, game number 3 of IWL versus Reps. Sponsored by Twitch TV. Twitch TV. They're pretty cool. Pretty cool dudes. Alright. And we have Gag as the Blue Terran. Has won 2 games. Whoop, that's not what I wanted to type. IWL Gag has won 2 games so far, but his opponent, as the Red Terran, is none other than Project. That looks like Protect, but it's not Protect. Those can't be words. There's no way that JZHZ means anything. Maybe they're acronyms? I don't know, man. I don't speak Russian. Certainly don't speak shorthanded Russian. Alright. Anyway. So, a TVT on Gladiator, it looks like. Yeah, this is Gladiator. So, yet another... yet another map with a reverse main. Although for a TVT matchup, it doesn't matter too much. I mean, if there's never a point where your opponent takes your natural and then you work your way back into win because you had the high ground. If it gets to that point, you just lost no matter what. So, shouldn't be a huge issue here. Did you see that? Like, there's an SCV sitting here mining this mineral patch, and there's an SCV sitting here mining this mineral patch. And it looked like they were repairing each other. That was kind of weird. Anyway, Gag and both Gag and Project not going to go for a 14cc. But Gag has not thrown down his refinery, so it looks like Gag's going to go Barracks Fast Expand. And Project's already got his gas going. So he's going to get some kind of tech behind this. I'm always a fan of Terrans going for really fast expos. Not only in TVT, but especially in TVT. Just, what's your opponent gonna do? Bunker rush you? They're not Flash. They can't get away with that shit. Anyway, first factory is down for Project. We'll have to see what he does. He has a variety of options beyond that first factory. He can go for a really fast starport and go Wraiths. He could go for 2 starports and go double Wraith. Go for starport plus Comstat. Go for drop ships. He could throw down a second factory, go flood with vultures. he could do the safest thing in the world and get Siege and go Siege expand to the TVT. He has a variety of options. Meanwhile, Gag threw down his bunker, so he's going to be safe from any immediate attack from Project. And he's throwing down his first factory as well. Not too far behind, but a little bit. First Vulture on the way for Project. Now, he does have the gas for another building, but he's thrown down his expansion. Wait. Oh. I was like, wait. That SCV had 2 health. How do you have 2 health? SCVs do 5 and Vultures do 20. That doesn't make 2 in any way. But I forgot he had a marine. He had 1 marine at the front. And everything makes sense. Anyway, Gag going for his second factory much faster than not much faster than Projects. Same time as Projects? Essentially the same time as Projects. So Gag's gonna have a bit of an advantage as his command center was significantly faster. He's gotten more SCVs out. And he's throwing down a fast armory. So a fast armory indicates faster Goliaths, which indicates no intention of getting a starport until significantly later into the game for Gag. Meanwhile, in Project's camp, we still don't have that 3rd building yet. It's getting a bit too late to be a starport anyway. But it could still be for some, not for immediate drops, but for the drop ships to be doing Terran stuff. Although that dropship style of play is kind of fallen out of favor in TVT. Anyway, Project bringing its first few units to attack. 1 siege tank, 1 SCV, 1 Vulture. The tank will outrange the bunker. But there is a tank in the background for Gag. And Project has siege mode done already, a very fast siege mode. So he'll be able to take out that bunker pretty easily. Gag is sieging up now, and Gag is sieged up in the correct position to be able to hit. Project unsieging, is he going to be able to get away? Yes, he is, saving the siege tank and getting just out of range so he can still hit the bunker, although he doesn't have vision of it yet. He still needs to wait for his barracks to fly in. Oh, good move by Gag. He had his barracks in position. He was going to be able to see it, and is now repairing his siege tank. So Project down a siege tank in this fight. Now, Vulture speed being upgraded. No Goliaths out yet, and not getting the +1. So the armory is not being used quite yet. But the +1 should be coming up very soon. +2 siege tanks, very, very important to get upgrade to get in this matchup. So I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't take too much longer to get that. Project adding on a second machine shop, so 2 factories, 2 machine shops. Looks like he is content to use all of his gas for tanks at the moment. Meanwhile, Gag has pushed forward with his siege tanks and gotten into a good position. On Gladiator, it's easy to defend yourself and not get contained at the same time. Because you have this weird high ground spike, you can just litter this with turrets or siege tanks or Goliaths or what have you, and it's really hard for another player to attack. There's the dropship option, but that's almost it. It's almost impossible to break up conventionally if your opponent's sieged up in the correct position. Meanwhile, notice Projects, these 2 Vultures already only have 1 mine. The Vulture up here laid its final mine. Project is a player who almost never lets his Vultures die with mines still in tow. And it's one of the reasons... Look, no mines before it died. And it's one of the reasons why he's such an excellent Terran player. Just because his mine spreadage is impeccable. And I won't be able to comment it on every time, but just notice throughout the game, there will always be red specks around the map. You can see it already. Gag's already on 5 factories, which is quite high, considering he's only on 2 base and has an armory to get upgrades. Project is building his 3rd and 4th, and his armory's up, and he's getting his +1. But he has already expanded to his 3rd. Gag soon to expand to his 3rd. Interesting, the players taking different 3rd locations. Project going for a line, while Gag's going for a more of a triangle. I'm actually sure. Oh, wow. That could have been a lot worse. I mean, he lost like 2 or 3 SCVs anyway, but man, that could have been bad. Anyway, as I was saying, I'm not exactly sure why Project took this one. If he took the expansion down here, it would have been a little bit easier to defend. But it's not a huge difference either way, so it won't matter. Oh, double mine hit. Anyway, factories 5 and 6 going down for Project. He has taken his 3rd gas. Gag, his command center is almost done, but still has a little bit of a ways to go. Where is the Goliath? I hear it. There we go. Project has a good defense here against vultures. He made it completely tight, and there's a siege tank there, so it'll be able to do damage rather quickly. But Gag's base is very undefended. And against a player who likes vultures as much as Project does, I feel that's a very risky thing to do. I wouldn't be surprised if Project scouts. I do not know what... Oh, he accidentally lifted it because he's trying to build the constat. That's what was going on. It's a pretty risky thing to do against a player who's going to have as many vultures as Project does. We'll see if Project can capitalize on that. As you can see, he's throwing down his 7th factory, but only 2 machine shops so far. And that's a very Project thing to do, to have 5 factories only producing vultures and a couple of Goliaths. So how far are we on our upgrades? Getting a dropship. There's a science facility. So Gag can't start his +2 attack until that science facility finishes. Meanwhile, Project just throwing down his control tower now, and now throwing down his science facility. So very similar timings with the tech. Gag slightly faster. Now he only has 1 starport, and it's rather late. So he's not going to have the huge fleet of dropships. I think he's just going to be using them for just put a couple of tanks in, just a couple of vultures in, try to drop them in inconvenient places, do a little bit of harassment that way. I don't think we'll have any carpet bombs until significantly later into the game, if at all. I'm reading the chat, man, and he says that the video is as smooth as my voice, and I really hope that's a compliment. Fingers crossed, because I actually did put a lot of effort in to make it not laggy, but I said that about last week too, and then it was still laggy. So, ugh. Anyway, so Project starting to slowly creep towards his opponent. But man, these high ground spikes just make movement so hard for either player. Because siege tanks on this high ground spike, it's just, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Try to come around this way? Doesn't matter. Try to go up from the bottom? More siege tanks on this high ground spike. Anyway. Well, it looks like Gag is going to be producing a lot of dropships. Just to highlight the difference again. 8 factories, 3 machine shops for Project. 6 factories, 4 machine shops for Gag. And that's just the way Project likes to play, man. Get them vultures. Dropping the siege tank in behind the mineral line. Ooh. Very nice by Gag. Getting that siege tank could not have been any farther away and still managed to get hits off, but he put it in the absolute perfect position. Meanwhile, dropping a couple vultures in the base, already 5 kills between them, 6 kills, 7 kills. Oh man, those vultures are getting trapped. It can't reach. This vulture's actually going to get a lot of hits. Oh, finally able to hit. Checking out the +2 timings for each player, Gag is slightly below 50%. Project is about 75, so Project's +2 is going to finish, and given his supply count and his positioning, that might actually be a huge window for him to be able to hit when he has +2 and his opponent does not. Actually, that could be a really nice timing for him. Anyway, both players getting out an okay number of dropships. Gag had a lot of them at one point, but I'm not sure where they flew off to. Ah, there they are. All empty? All empty. Anyway, look like Project starting to make just a little bit more progress. He's in a position to take 1, 2, 3 bases at any time he wants to. Man, there's a lot of spider mines. So, well, Project does have his +2 now, so he does have a very small window where he might be able to get something going, but that was a pretty bad attack. Gag is sieged up in a very nice position with the high ground, and Project was not prepared for that. On the other side, though, Gag running 4 siege tanks in a pretty bad position, and now he does not have vision. But they're out of range anyway. So, both players getting a little bit out of position, but neither player really winning that decisively. That's a lot of siege tanks for Gag to be isolated and without support. They're not exactly doing anything in this position, and I feel that unless Gag wants to expand more down here than just this one, I think that he should pull those tanks back, because he's not covering against this huge force from Project. And while these siege tanks are in a very nice position, they're not going to be able to cover that forever. Well, there's 5 more back there. Oh, here we go. Project making his move, but this is going to be a very hard position to take out. Is he just going to siege up here? He has his units in position. He could just take the center expansion. It's a double gas. Double gases are nice. Project moving his units across the middle of the map. He's now surrounded by Gag on pretty much all sides if you look at the mini-map. But he's going to be able to push through the few siege tanks here, and he's actually going to have a shot to take out that expansion if that is the direction he is moving in. Getting a little bit farther forward. And now Gag's finally pulling back with these units. He didn't lose too many more after Project's last movement. But, well, looks like these are going to be enough. They're going to siege up on the high ground once again. And I think the Gag's been taking advantage of the high ground a lot better than Project has. I mean, in this situation, Project sieged all of his stuff up on the low ground, and Gag had the high ground on both sides. easily squashed it. He would have won the battle without the high ground, but it just helped him. Still have 3 dropships hanging out. Now Project has 3 mining bases. It's about to be 4. Well, now 4. And Gag, Gag letting the vultures into his base. Got vultures in your base. Oh, they die so fast. They die so fast. I'm probably going to be forced to lift that command center because he doesn't seem to be bringing in any reinforcements. There we go. Now bringing in the siege tanks. But these siege tanks are actually going to distract. A mine? Nope, not quite activating the mine. And getting one more shot off, so only 2 siege tanks make it through the gauntlet. And these vultures, if they go to the other side, they're going to force the siege tanks to have to unsiege and come up the ramp. A huge SCV transfer. The vultures are still there, though. There's nothing to stop the vultures from just killing them, and Project did put them behind the command center. And now, Project's actually focusing down the command center instead of the vultures. That's a bit of a mistake, but if he is able to take down the command center, that would be huge. I don't think so. Vultures are pretty slow at killing buildings. Nope. He did get it to flaming. It is burning down. We'll have to watch out. Gag might not have been paying attention. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Project attacking Gag's 3rd. And this time there's a couple siege tanks in tow. I don't think Gag's going to be able to save this. Yeah, he's going to try to flee the SCVs away, but a couple vultures in the Goliaths mean that those SCVs are going to die really quickly. He did realize that was on fire, so he's going to repair it. Meanwhile, Project taking yet another base. And now Project is very far ahead of Gag in supply. And Gag is not mining here. He's essentially not mining here. This is his only mining base at the moment. He's be down by what, 50 supply? 109 compared to 170. Oh, even worse. Down by 60 supply and has 1 mining base compared to Project's 1, 2, 3. About to be 4. Looks like Gag is going to try to harass with group of 3 dropships. Project doesn't have any tanks here. And that's the problem with Project style. You need to be... not only do you need to have immaculate mine positioning with your vultures to make the vultures really worth it, you also need to know exactly how to use the tanks that you have. Otherwise, you just end up throwing lots of vultures away like this. He still did, man... it's still not a huge thing. But a player with more tanks would have been able to clean that up very easily. Did I hear a wraith? I thought I heard the pew-pew of a wraith. I did hear the pew-pew of a wraith. Why you would build a wraith, I don't know. There's a Goliath here. Whatever, not important. Those things die so fast. And who would think that heat-seeking rockets would be able to lock on to things made out of paper? Anyway, Project going in for an attack, but Gag with the siege tanks in a very, very nice position. That's not going to get anywhere at all. Looks like Project's going in for a drop. 2 siege tanks, 4 vultures. And he's sieging his siege tanks up in a very nice position. They're going to be able to do very well against those units in the back. Vulture freaking out. And yes, he's going to kill a few guards here, and Gag really doesn't have the supply, only at 110, to just devote units to this, and I think this expansion is going to go down. He's not bringing in any more units. This expansion is going to fall. And that is Gag's last mining base, so Gag will not be mining it. He said something, and then GG. Project taking the first win for reps. Very nice. All right. And Icarus. A game on Icarus. Does IWL have a good Zerg line? Let's find out. Oh, what do you know? It's a Zerg. We have IWL Finito. All right. Ido El Finito as the purple Zerg versus Project as the white Terran. There we go. On Icarus, Project with the positional advantage. Alright. Let's see what he can do here. Excuse me. Like under 200, under 600. Project Man is a master spammer. Except for it's like not spam, because when he's playing a game it only goes down to like 410. He's just stupid fast. It is stupid how fast he is. There goes my water. Anyway, looks like Project is gearing up for a one rack set fee. Meanwhile, Finito is going 12 pull. Or excuse me, 12 hatch. Wow. Yeah, 12 hatch. And going to scout. You didn't get the drone scout correct. The Overlord scout went in the wrong direction. And Project will scout out his opponent. Well, he should tell by the drone scout that, excuse me, he should tell by the drone scout that where his opponent is. He's actually sending out a second SCV too. Well, not many Terran players send out that second SCV. Interesting. Drone, no, it was one hit. Almost got killed. Was glitching out a little bit there, but nope. Gonna be fine. And Project is actually scouting out the empty location. I guess he didn't quite realize when Finito's drone was coming out. It looks like he's throwing out a bunker rush. Alright, why not? Why not? These first two drones came out very fast, so the bunker got pretty close to completion, but not quite. There's an SCV coming in. It's actually going to dodge the drone pack. Is that going to be buy it enough time to finish it? Oh, it stopped. It didn't actually do any construction. Didn't take any hits, but didn't actually do anything. Here come the Marines. Nice surround by Finito. Not perfect though. Project able to get out of there for a second, but immediately gets the re-surround. And not quite finishing it off once again. Is he sending another SCV? Because that one only has 10 hits left. No, he's going to pull back, give up on the bunker rush. So, forced a lot of mining time off from Finito, forced a lot of lings, and between the canceled bunker and the one Marine he lost, only 75 minerals, which is the cost of a vulture. And as we all know, vultures are free, so it didn't actually cost him anything. Although Project is forced to pull SCVs now, because that is a lot of lings coming out, but well, actually, that's a pretty bad SCV block, but it looks like it's still going to be good enough. He gets it right at the very last second. And Project has a very fast factory out, so it looks like he wants to go mech. Interesting. Now, mech can be good on this map because the distance between the two bases is so short. He's not going to have to spend that much time pushing. Meanwhile, Finito looks like he's just going for 3 hatch Mutalisk. Is he really gonna... He's sending yet another SCV. Interesting. Meanwhile, Arthur Sunken's thrown down. He's throwing down 1 creep colony, but that's not going to defend the main. That 1 vulture could end up doing a lot of damage. There's no speed for the lings, and in fact, the Sunken colony isn't even done. With Project's insane APM, actually it's not that high this game, but with Project's super good APM, the vulture shouldn't die to lings. Oh, but he's not going to go for it? Really? Oh man, I thought he was going to do something super cool, like attack the Sunken with the Marines, and then draw the Zerglings out, and then try to sneak the vulture in. Oh, maybe he is. He's bringing in 2 more vultures. Doesn't have any... Ooh! Wraith transition. Very sexy. Well, there is absolutely no anti-air out for Finito. His lair's only halfway done, and there's no Evo chamber, no Hydralisk Den. So he's really as far away from air units as he could be, essentially. First Wraith is just going to miss that Overlord. In fact, the Overlord might have seen it. The vision range on Wraiths is surprisingly small. But let's see how much damage he's able to do. He's going to go for drones instead of Overlords. And here come the Vultures for a run-by, but very nice lane control by Finito. He's going to shut that down immediately. And actually, the Lings are going to get very aggressive and attack the Marines. Project was not expecting that good of lane control from Finito, or for him to be that aggressive afterwards, and those Lings take out that attack easily. Very nice. But Finito is now able to... Or excuse me, Project's still able to kill with Wraiths. Now, the bunker, that's not going to finish in time. Does he have enough stuff to stop it here? He should. He does have a Vulture, so theoretically, if he just micros that correctly... Well, that's not correctly. Vulture goes down. Vulture goes down, 2 SCVs going down. The bunker's not going to finish, and he's going to be able to kill off the Marines. Is Project really going to lose to Lings? Is Project really going to lose to Lings? They're getting a lot of kills. They're glitching out a bit, and there is a Vulture now surrounded by SCVs, so there's no way... Well, I take that back. There is a way that it could die. He could totally screw it up. Oh man, Finito's lane control this game is amazing. The bunker does finally finish, but no Marines to go in. The Vulture is going to get enough kills. Ling just got it out. How many kills has that Wraith got? It's up to 5. That's nice, but not enough. Spire, man, he's just like, he doesn't give a fuck about that Wraith. Too busy worrying about his speedlings, man. Oh, man. Project's gonna lose to Lings. Project is going to lose to speedlings. 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 Just ate that Vulture, man. They just ate it. It's gone. Metal and everything. Now they're taking all the SCVs. GG for Project. Finito with a very surprising performance. Now only needs 1 more game to take it home for IWL. Alright, game number 5 on Ground Zero. We have Finito as the Purple Zerg once again, and coming out to be the savior for... What? Wait, never mind. Finito's the Orange Zerg. Coming out to be the savior is Reps Plubbum. Surprising pick. I mean, Plubbum isn't that bad of a player. It's just that Reps has a lot of good players, and you're only starting 4 total. So I'm kind of surprised to see him come out. But who knows, man? Plubbum can get it done. Anyway, so ZVZ on Ground Zero. Well, for ZVZ, this map really is... There's nothing... I mean, there's nothing special about this map for pretty much any matchup, but especially for ZVZ. Just, it's a normal natural, it's a normal main, normal-sized ramps, normal-sized choke here, maybe a little bit bigger than normal. So, this should be the most standard of ZVZs. Neither player going for the 9 pool. Never mind. Finito's going for the 9 pool. Alright, missed that. 9 pool speed, in fact. Alright, Both players will scout out their opponents first. Normally you send your Overlord to the closest natural possible, and on this map, both both players will scout in the correct direction. Meanwhile, Plumbum... I'm forgetting it. I spelled Plumbum wrong. Darn! My bad. Plumbum's going for the 12 pool, so he should have an advantage. But we saw from Finito, he's pretty good control with his links. And sometimes that's all you need in ZVZ. Anyway, first 6 lings are out, another 2 are on the way. Plumbum, seeing that the expansion hasn't thrown down, knows his opponent's going for a 9 pool. And his lings are on the way as well. There's still a little bit of time before they finish. Once he pulls a couple drones to help out, hold off the aggression, he should be able to defend the expansion. Doesn't need to cancel it or anything drastic like that. And actually, it looks like the lings are going to get there at just about the same time. Finito going in for the... Oh, Finito with a very nice arc, trapping some of Plumbum's lings in the back, not allowing them to fight. But doesn't matter, the drones help out enough to even it up. Is one injured one back here. Plumbum with a little bit more damage. Ah, there, I'm trying to click on that one. So, gonna play a little bit of back and forth. Plumbum is forced to make action in this situation because if neither player wants to attack, then Finito can just pick away at the hatchery, and Plumbum really can't allow that to happen for too long. Oh, but if Plumbum keeps getting into those situations, he's just putting his units in just horrible fighting areas. Now, Plumbum using that drone very effectively and is really disrupting Finito's attacking, but Finito was doing a good job for a while. Plumbum with a few extra reinforcements going to equal it out. Finito ahead by just a single supply, and oh, run by into the main. There are 2 Zerglings there, but Zerglings in your main is never something good in the ZVZ. And now Plumbum really has to strain his concentration. He not only has to focus on preventing these lings from picking off kills, but he also has to prevent these lings from doing too much damage to the hatchery. And... oh, getting stuck on a drone. So those lings are cleaned up. But looks like Finito won a battle over here by just 1 ling, and another run by, but captured by Plumbum. Plumbum picking off a lot of Finito's lings. Plumbum hasn't started his spire yet. His lair is done. How much longer until Finito's spire is up? Ooh, his spire is much farther along. So far, that Plumbum really needs to throw down an Evo chamber. He doesn't quite have enough money for it yet. But he does have a lot more lings. He might be able to just win with these. The Sunken Colony isn't quite up yet, but the Spire just finished. So Mutalisks are on the way, and these Mutalisks are going to be a huge issue for Plumbum if he's not able to do significant drone damage here. And I don't think he is. He does have a lot of lings, but that Sunken Colony's in such a good position, he's not going to be able to snipe anything. At least I don't think so. I don't think that I don't think you can quite put lings there and hit the extractor. Although Finito's not mining gas anymore, so these 2 Mutalisks are it. And Plumbum didn't throw down any anti-air. Plumbum's just going with the Spire. He's moving in with the lings now. They're trying to focus down the Sunken Colony. Are they going to be able to get it down? It looks like they are going to be able to get it down, but just barely. No, they're not even able to take it down. Finito still with a good number of drones. Actually, not that good number of drones. He only has 6 drones. But he has no anti-air. He has no anti-air. Like, none. Not even a little. He's going to try to be fancy by putting injured drones into the extractor, but here comes a second Mutalisk. Here comes a Cacao that looks like a Mutalisk. And Plumham has no more drones. He's sending all of his lings down. He needs to win with these lings. But there's a Mutalisk overhead. I don't think Plumham can do this. I think Plumham just lost the game. And that's it. Finito is going to seal it out for IWL. There it is, the GG. Good games by him. So, IWL wins it 4-1. Congratulations to them, reps. Takes a little bit of slide down the rankings. This has been Gambit Cup, presented by Twitch TV. Thank you to Twitch TV, Nerbopolis, and Prowler, our very nice sponsors. We greatly appreciate what you're doing. And I will be back to do my normally scheduled cast this Sunday at 21 CET. So tune in for that. It is SAS GT. I'm pretty sure it's SAS GT and Pain DM. So, some good matchups. See you guys then. Thank you for watching.